Okay, this video is to teach you how to use the stock system of naming. By now you probably realize that there are actually two ways of naming balanced compounds. There's the stock system and then there's the modern prefix system. This video only deals with naming using the stock system. Please keep the systems separate. I'll always tell you to use one or the other. If you mix the rules, you won't get anything right. Trying to mix the rules is like bringing a baseball bat to play flag football. You're either going to play by the baseball rules or football rules. You can't mix the rules. So this video is about stock system. Okay, there's two important things you need to remember about the stock system for this video. Number one, you're going to use Roman numerals, all right, in the stock system. And Roman numerals tell you the charge, all right, and the charge of the atom that the Roman numeral is beside. We only use Roman numerals for positive charges. So if something has a 1 beside it, the Roman numeral 1, which is just an I, then it has a charge of positive 1. If something has the Roman numeral 2 beside it, which is II, then it's got a charge of positive 2. And the only other thing is you just change the ending to IDE. So whatever the ending is, you knock it off and change it to IDE. Now these rules may seem confusing now, but they're extremely simple. For instance, take TiO. This is the compound formed between titanium and oxygen. Okay, now in order to name this using the stock system, I'm just going to write exactly what it is. It's called titanium. Just leave the name the same. It's titanium. But the only thing for the stock system is I do need to put a Roman numeral here, and that Roman numeral needs to be in parentheses. All right, and that Roman numeral is going to tell me, remember, it's going to tell me the charge. So I just got to figure out what's the charge on titanium. Here's a problem. You can't just look on the periodic table. It's one of those D block or transition metals. It can have multiple charges. So I'm going to have to figure out the charge. Well, if you remember our old trusty T chart, we're going to use that again. Okay. Now, we used the T chart to figure out how to balance a compound. Well, here, we've already got a balanced compound. We want to actually work backwards and figure out the charge on that titanium. So I'm going to write in everything that's understood. For instance, it's understood that I have one titanium and I have one oxygen. Now, I don't know the charge on titanium, but I do know the charge on oxygen. It's -2. Always, right? D blocks can have different charges. Nonmetals cannot. So if I have one oxygen, that's one -2 charge. 1 times -2 is -2. Now remember, whatever is over here on top, I have to have the same thing over here, but opposite. Because balanced compounds have balanced charges. So if this is -2 here, then we have +2 there. And now the only hole is right here, the charge on titanium. I've got one titanium. 1 times what is +2? Right, 2. So obviously this one titanium must have a charge of +2. Now I want you to notice what I did was I actually worked my way in a big circle back to the charge. Like a detective, I took what I knew and I deduced the unknown, which was the charge on titanium. I worked my way back around to the charge. And the most important premise is realizing that whatever is up here, then over here is going to be the exact same thing but opposite. This is my negative side, this is my positive side. So this is titanium with a +2 charge. So I put a 2 right here, Roman numeral 2. And then what comes next is oxygen. But remember, the other rule is change the ending to ID. So it's not titanium 2 oxygen, it's titanium 2 oxide. And that is the answer. Let's do another example. What about Fe2O3? All right, if I'm naming this using the stock system, I'm just going to leave the first name the same. It's called iron. Okay, but the stock system says that the positive charges need a Roman numeral. So I'm going to put parentheses here for my Roman numeral. So this is iron what? Well, don't be the person that writes iron 2 because there's a 2 right here. You are going to get it wrong. Roman numerals do not tell you how many. Roman numerals tell you the charge. That means I need to know what the charge is of this iron. You know, the charge will be found up here. And I don't know the charge of iron. Iron can have multiple charges because it's transition metal. So what I want to do is I'm going to draw my T chart. And I'm going to work my way back around to try to fill in the blank right here and figure out what the charge on iron is. All right, I know that there's 2 irons, 3 oxygens. I know every oxygen is -2. So that means that my grand total is 3 times -2 is -6. And whatever this is the exact same number but opposite, because I know balanced compounds have balanced charges. So -6 and +6 balance. And so now the only blank left is what is the charge on my iron? Well, 2 times what is +6? +3. Iron has a charge here of +3. So this is iron 3. Not iron 3 oxygen, it's iron 3 oxide. Remember, you change the ending to IDE. It is that simple.